Well, look at that. If it isn't Nayu's little hero, who'd have thought we'd meet again? In Elsweyr, of all places. You wouldn't happen to be traveling to the town of Hakoshae, would you? I'm investigating a rumor about the town's leader, Magnate Faina Darak. Word has it that she's a descendant of the akaviri potentate. A rather curious rumor, given that the potentate's bloodline should have been wiped out over a century ago. It's a personal matter pertaining to my grandfather's legacy. Painful as it is to say, my family's reputation depends on proving this rumor false. You wouldn't happen to be looking for work, would you? I could use a lending hand. Why don't you begin by speaking to the lady in question? The magnate should be in the town square. Strike up a conversation and see what she reveals. In the meantime, I'll begin my own investigation. See what I can dig up. Well, I would just love to give you all the torrid details of my last few writs. I'm afraid that secrecy comes with the job description. Suffice it to say, I've kept myself busy. Oh, you know her. Probably up to the usual. A little wine, a little murder. Honestly, I generally find it in my best interest to not know exact details. Especially after all that trouble we went through in Balmora. Decided to come for a bit of sightseeing. After all, I heard Hakoshae is lovely this time of year. Perhaps. After all, the Morag Tong does like to keep me busy. But right now, what I need to do is gather information. Prove yourself useful, and I may be willing to share some further details. Hakoshae was built after the fall of the akaviri potentate. It's been, let's see now, a little over 100 years now? Yes, right around that. The town was founded by the akaviri refugees who fled during that time. Potentate Vessedushe began his political career as advisor to Emperor Riemann III. When the emperor was assassinated, the potentate stepped up as Cyrodiil's leader. Very fortunate for Vessedushe, of course. He was emperor in all but name. So goes the rumors, though nothing was ever proven. Unsurprisingly, an akaviri on the ruby throne created conflict. The potentate was eventually assassinated himself. A few decades later, his heir was similarly slain. The Morag Tong, of course. Who else would be so competent? Following the death of potentate Severian Chorak and his heirs, a large number of akaviri and their followers left Cyrodiil. Many wound up here in Elsweyr. The akaviri come from the land of Akavir, a continent east of Tamriel. They first invaded Tamriel in the First Era, but were ultimately convinced to join the Empire. Hakoshae is populated by their descendants. Yes, the akaviri took the fall of the potentate as a rather obvious sign that they were no longer welcomed in Cyrodiil. Many of them fled to Elsweyr. Hakoshae is but one of the settlements that was founded. I suppose that's a matter of perspective. After all, generations of imperial marriages have considerably thinned the bloodline. Still, Hakoshae does strive to maintain akaviri culture and customs, starting with the town's rather distinct name. As an agent of the Morag Tong, my grandfather had the honor of executing the last remaining heir of the akaviri potentate. But here's the tricky bit. My grandfather and the heir both disappeared during the attempt. The Morag Tong presumed them dead. If Magnate Faina Darak truly is the descendant of the potentate, it proves without a shadow of a doubt that my grandfather failed. And such failure would be a grave dishonor to my family name. That's why I'm keen to prove this rumor false.
Lucky for you to arrive in Hakoshae just in time for the Proving Festival. Not many get the honor to see it in all its glory.
haven't been able to sleep all week. Please, can't you do something?
Of course. I'll have the town guards investigate tonight.
Thank you, Magnate Feynadarak.
And who do we have here? Come, let us speak. Welcome to the town of Hakoshae. I must say it is not often I see a new face. Have you perhaps come to take part in our festival? The Proving Festival, yes. Through a series of trials, the people of Hakoshae must prove themselves to their ancestors. We do so by completing 3 trials, otherwise known as the 3 proofs. First, the proof of reference calls on our ancestors to witness our deeds. Second, the proof of strength displays our might and bravery. Lastly, the proof of wisdom tests our knowledge and wit. Through these trials, we show our worth. Of course, I'm sure you too have ancestors you wish to honor. First, you must speak with Domitia Nasica. You'll find her just by the river. Listen well to her words, for she will guide you through your first trial. Let me know if you have any other questions. I realize that Hakoshae can be quite the curiosity for travelers such as yourself. Nothing to worry about. Domitia just hasn't been sleeping well. She believes there's something prowling around her house at night. I suspect it to be just bad dreams. Of course, I'd never dismiss a citizen who seeks my aid. Having the town guards investigate will help ease Domitia's fears. That alone may be enough to stop her nightmares. And if the dreams continue, I'll make sure she's seen by a healer. Though Hakoshae is known for its akaviri ancestry, the truth is that our imperial bloodline runs far richer. Still, we honor our akaviri ancestors by maintaining some of their customs. The Proving Festival is a shining example of that. The Proving Festival has not been celebrated since Hakoshae was first founded. I didn't even know it existed until I found a first-hand account of the festival in my family's records. It's been quite the challenge getting everyone up to speed. I'm not sure. Perhaps the town just wasn't interested in celebrations when Hakoshae was first founded. They were refugees, after all. You can read about it yourself if you're so inclined. I happen to have the book with me. I hold the title of Magnate, though I have no emperor who supports me. Still, my family has led Hakoshae since its founding and chose to take the title to reflect that role. It has been my honor to lead this town for over 10 years now. Because it was our family who founded it. My ancestors wished to create a place of safety and peace, where akaviri traditions could continue to be passed down and honored. A goal I still strive to respect to this day. Yes, as is my family's tradition. We tend to keep closer to our akaviri heritage than most. I even speak a little of the language, though I suspect my accent is quite atrocious.
Oh, you're that traveler I saw earlier. Do you need something? Truly, that was certainly nice of her. Your first step is to complete the proof of reverence. This trial allows us to call upon our ancestors to watch over us as we prove ourselves worthy of their name. With this paper lotus, write the names of your honored ancestors on its petals and place the lotus in the river. This will allow it to float into the afterlife. Think of it like a calling card, a way to get your ancestors to pay attention. Return to me when you've completed your task. Oh, and feel free to ask any questions you may have. This is Hakoshae's first Proving Festival in over a century, after all. I'm sure you're just as curious as everyone else. Before we can prove ourselves to our ancestors, we must first get their attention. The paper lotus acts as a ceremonial letter of sorts. By placing it into the river, we allow it to be carried into the realm of the dead. Yes, it is. The akaviri believe that all waterways connect the realms of the living and dead. There are many folktales about boats being lost in heavy fog and landing on shores filled with restless spirits. I used to, when I was little. Whenever I would go jump in a puddle, my mother would yell, "Stop that! You'll fall right into the afterlife!" Truthfully, though, she just didn't want my dress to get muddy. Excited, of course. Honestly, I'm shocked we gave up the tradition in the first place. No one even remembered the festival existed until the magnate found an old record about it. Our town doesn't have much wealth or power, but we do take pride in our ancestry. Learning about our akaviri culture and celebrating it is important to us. And the Proving Festival is the perfect way to do just that. Through this proof, you have shown reverence. Well done. Next is the proof of strength. You'll need to... I'm sorry. I'm just so tired today. There's been a lot of strange noises at night lately, and I haven't slept very well. You overheard that? Ah, well, yes. I've started hearing noises at night. Heavy breathing, uneven footsteps that seem to shuffle about. At first I thought I was dreaming it all, but now I am not too sure. I don't, though the magnate has promised to send a patrol out tonight. Hopefully they'll find whatever it is. But you've got a proof to complete. Head over to Vectrasi for your next task. He's just a little ways west of here, right up the hill. Good luck with the proof of strength, and let me know if you need anything.
What can I do for you, traveler? You wish to prove yourself before your ancestors. Very well. To the north lies a cave wherein beautiful sugar daisies grow. Bring me one, and you will have proved your strength. Ah, didn't I mention? The cave also happens to be a cinch lion lair, and I doubt the beasts will be particularly fond of your intrusion. Best of luck, traveler. Make sure to keep your senses about you. Cinch lions aren't beasts to take lightly. The akaviri have always placed a great emphasis on martial prowess. The proof of strength shows our ancestors that we remain strong and are prepared to face any danger that may befall us. The greatest? Akaviri warriors are known for both their might and magic. It was only because of their aid that General Riemann was able to pacify all of Tamriel under his rule. Why, it was Akaviri who founded the Dragon Guard. Proud warriors who formed the Dragonborn Riemann's personal guard. Unfortunately, they seem to have disbanded after the Akaviri potentate fell. I still think they're around, though, waiting for their moment to return. You have the look of victory about you. Tell me, were you successful? Most impressive. I'd say you've certainly made your ancestors proud. Good thing, too. Wouldn't want any unhappy spirits mucking about Hakoshae. They'd bring all sorts of misfortune. Quite right. It's part of why honoring our ancestors is so important. Happy ancestors gift their descendants with good fortune. Wrathful ancestors, well, they do just the opposite. They curse us with misery, desolation, even death. Yes, death. Of course, you'd need to perform a great dishonor for such a punishment. Not that you have to worry about that. You've proven both your reverence and strength. Now, it's time to test your wit. Head to the town square and speak to Valoria. Don't dawdle now. The proof of wisdom awaits you back in Hakoshae.
Hakoshae used to be a lot more closed off to strangers when we were first founded, though after the fall of the potentate, it makes sense that the town would be on edge. Luckily for travelers like you, we've opened up quite a bit since then. Luckily, Hakoshae has managed to stay neutral to most of the region's conflicts. You won't find anyone willing to join a war in this town. It's bad enough that we have to deal with these dragon attacks. We don't bother the Khajiit, and in turn, they don't bother us. Of course, the cats are happy to accept our gold and work out trades, and their bandits are more than ready to attack Hakoshae, should we let our guard down.
Come, have a drink with me.
Potentate for Hakoshae ruled Cyrodiil for hundreds of years before his death. No one is quite sure what allowed this longevity, as it certainly isn't a common trait for the akaviri to have. One can only guess that powerful magics were at play. Did you know that it was the potentate for Hakoshae who sanctioned the Guilds Act? If not for him, we wouldn't have the Mages Guild, the Fighters Guild, and so many others. The akaviri gave so much to Tamriel, with so little given in return. It was the potentate who declared the Second Era had begun. Can you imagine a man so imposing that he would declare the end of an entire era? Truly, the akaviri people must have been quite influential to have such an impact.
Why, if it isn't our town's mysterious stranger. Magnet Fena Derak told me all about your participation. Have you completed the first 2 proofs? Excellent, excellent. Then you are ready for the proof of wisdom. I am most useful when empty. I am most generous when full. What am I? Of course. What better way to show your wisdom? The riddle describes one of the items on this table. Choose the correct item and bring it to me. Only then will you pass the trial. Best of luck, dear. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Throughout akaviri history, the proof of wisdom has been performed in a number of ways. Scholars draft grand essays, writers compose ornate poems, philosophers perform lengthy debates. But for Hakoshae, we went with riddles. The people of Hakoshae are simple folk, and our great scholars are few and far between. A modest trial keeps morale up, while still honoring our ancestors. However, we did get a few essay submissions for the Magnate to review. Of course. Just like the rest of her family. Every akaviri text we have is safely contained within the magnate's home, and she makes sure to study them. Even teaches the young ones a bit of the language. You've returned. Tell me, what item did you bring? Yes, that is indeed the answer. Oh, I'm just so happy you guessed correctly. I was a little worried my riddle was too obscure. I had hoped Magnate Faina Darak would provide a riddle, but she's had her hands full with the festival. Poor thing. She just has a lot riding on her shoulders. We're all seeking to honor our ancestors. But the magnate's ancestors are a bit, harder to live up to. I'm sure it's created a good deal of stress. May your ancestors be pleased by your actions, traveler.
Enjoying the festival, are we? I'm sure you've heard a great deal about akaviri culture today, but tell me, did you learn anything about the magnate herself? Everything you've learned seems to support the rumor. A descendant of the potentate would certainly be given such privileges. However, my investigation calls for more concrete proof. A document would be best. I've made some inquiries of my own. It seems that Magnate Faina Darak has quite a few records in the cellar of her home. We'll need to break in and search her documents. We need a key, and I'm positive the captain of the guard carries one. If you would do me the kindness of chatting him up for a bit, I'll do my best to obtain the key. Should all go well, we'll be in and out before anyone notices. Very well. Let's get moving then.
Greetings. Say, aren't you the traveler who joined the Proving Festival? Are you now? Well, that's certainly an impressive feat. Honestly, this whole affair has been nerve-wracking for me. I'm not too keen on dishonoring my ancestors. Who knows what misfortune would befall me? To be honest, barely. The first two proofs were easy enough. Threw a paper lotus in the river, grabbed a sugar daisy for Vecdrasi. But that last proof, well, it stumped me. Couldn't for the life of me figure out the riddle. I'll admit it, I had a little help. Magnate Faina Darak gave me a hint. She's a gracious lady, our magnate. Always helping out folks in need. I'm not sure how Hakoshae would fare without her.
Glad you could make it. Quickly now, let's head inside. Well, head on in before anyone notices. Well, that's certainly odd. There must be something here to take down that barrier. I'm willing to bet those tablets would fit rather nicely into these sockets on the floor. Looks like that did it. Let's head in. The magnate left a letter on her desk. Interesting, don't you think? Seems this letter confirms that the magnate is descended from the potentate. What a pity.
Just what are you two doing here? Get out at once!
Traitor! How dare you claim to be of my blood?
What? What's happening? Please, no!
Vegetal. Well, it seems we've confirmed that Faina Darak is a descendant of the potentate. Just in time for her to be whisked away by some vengeful spirit. Just my luck. Isn't that part of the Akaviri's beliefs? Disrespect your ancestors and they'll have their revenge. And given the spirit's armor, he was definitely Akaviri. Huh. Makes me wonder what the magnate did to deserve such a fate. I'm not sure, but it's as good a guess as any. Given the turn of events, we'd best go after them. Perhaps the local tombs? If I know ghosts, they don't often wander far from their graves. Some akaviri is so upset with the magnate that he's returned from the dead. And if I'm to see this investigation through to the end, I need to learn why. Let's head to the tombs. It's just east of the town square. Can't miss it. At least we have someone to search. Not much, but I'll take it. Clever. No wonder Nayu likes you so much. I will say that it is in the Morag Tong's interest that this matter be settled. We take great pride in the fall of the Akaviri potentate. Best not to have that history tarnished. That's not the Morag Tong's concern, now is it? My investigation is still ongoing, however. Speaking of my investigation, shouldn't we be going? Who knows what sort of misery the magnate is going through as we dither on? Glad you could make it. I see them, just up ahead.
Still you hunt me, assassin scum? Was my death not enough?
This disappearing act is getting very old, very fast. He seems to think that I was the Mer who assassinated him. Could be a simple case of mistaken identity. After all, my mother always did tell me I bear a striking resemblance to my grandfather, Methisdarum. As a member of the Morag Tong, my grandfather executed a great number of people. But, given the location and the armor the spirit wears, let's move ahead. I have a feeling we'll get our answers soon enough. Best if we split up and go our separate ways.
Advance! Can't find out!
Proconsul Balorin Kai, I presume?
Very good, assassin scum. You and your companion have been most insistent. Come, let us speak. Fena Derok has called my spirit to judge her. By her quill, my name was written. By her hands, the paper lotus placed. And so I have come to punish her wickedness. And yet you try to stop me. Who are you to deny me my revenge? When I escaped Cyrodiil, I had but one man to protect me. Someone I placed my utmost faith in. My utmost trust. Lieutenant Line Bardweek. But when it came time to guard me from my Morag Tong assassin, my protector fled. Yes, though not before I was able to inflict a mortal wound myself. Both I and my assassin died that day, but not Line Bardweek. He looted my corpse and claimed my name. It was he who founded Hakoshae, not I. Her family continued to spread the lies of my betrayer. For centuries they have proclaimed themselves nobility, but all they have inherited is lies. She must renounce her title and tell her people the truth. Only then will I be content. Go then, and convince Fena Derok to speak the truth. Only that will save her. The Proving Festival is a time for the Akaviri people to commune with their ancestors. Not only does it allow the dead to view the living world, it also invites us to cross over. Fena Derok called me to judge her. I have come to do so. And so I did not kill her, as I attempted to kill Line Bardweek when first this festival was held. My lieutenant also summoned me by our ancient rites, though he did not realize this. I was compelled to cross over and judge his wicked ways. Line Bardweek was a strong mage in his own right. He cast me away. For centuries I have waited for another Proving Festival, but I suspect that Line Bardweek took precautions against my return. But now, at last, the truth can be revealed.
I can't believe it. The founder of Hakoshae, my ancestor, he lied? You don't understand. To admit such a horrid truth wouldn't just dishonor me. It would dishonor my entire family. All of my ancestors, who have done such great things for Hakoshae, they'll all be disgraced. How can I do that? No. I don't want to keep lying. The citizens of Hakoshae deserve nothing but my complete honesty, even if it comes at the cost of my family's reputation. I'll do it. Ancestors, forgive me, but I'll tell everyone the truth.
I'll be watching, Fëanor Derach, waiting for you to speak the truth.
I'll keep my word.
Well, seems like it's time to get going then. I'll meet you in the town square.
I shall see if Fëanor Derach honors her words. Only then can I rest.
It seems my investigation has come to an end. The rumor was false, my family name is cleared, and no one even needed to be executed. A happy ending all around, wouldn't you say? The Morag tongue isn't one to leave loose threads, even one that's been dangling for over a century. Luckily for Fëanor Derach, my grandfather was able to complete his writ. Here, a reward for services rendered. Now, despite our daring rescue, I'm certain the Magnate doesn't want a member of the Morag tongue hanging about. Though it does look like she's about to make her big announcement, doesn't it? Well, perhaps I'll stick around long enough to watch. The Morag Tongue is an organization of assassins. Agents are assigned writs of execution, perform said executions, and then go along the merry way. That's the long and short of it in any case. I'd ask you not to compare us to those lunatics. Our practices, morbid as they may seem, are perfectly legal and keeping with dark elf traditions. I kill only who I am sanctioned to kill. If I had to. My preference was always to prove this rumor false, of course. Still, a writ is a writ. If my grandfather failed to do his duty, then I would have done it for him. Simple. My grandfather was following a writ which called for the death of potentate Severian Shorak and all his heirs. Had Fëanor Derach been a descendant of the proconsul, her execution would also fall under this writ. Naturally. I'll let the Morag Tongue know your feelings soon as I'm back in Morrowind. I'm sure they're just dying to hear your opinion.
My family has long claimed to be descended from the potentate. But this is not the truth. The man who founded the town, my ancestor, was a traitor. He betrayed Proconsul Baloran Kai and stole his name. My family's legacy is only a lie. I revoke my title as Magnate. And should you decide it, I will leave Hakoshae forever. This dishonor is mine to bear, and I accept it.
No! We still want you to be our Magnate!
You're an honorable woman, Fëanor Derach.
You deserve to lead this town.
And I said, that's what she said.
Everyone, thank you. Thank you so much.
Finally, I am avenged.
Greetings, traveler. I hope you're doing well. Honestly, I'm still wrapping my head around it all. My entire life, I thought that I was a descendant of the potentate. To realize that was a lie is... well, it's hard. But I'm still Fëanor Derach. I know who I am, and so too do my people. Yes, for as long as Hakoshae will have me. And even if that changes, I'll still do my best to help this town however I can. This is my home, no matter who my ancestors were or were not. I realize that now.